Hey AfterBuzzers, welcome to an all-new Shadowhunters after show here at AFTERBUZZ TV. Tonight we're going to be talking about Season 2, Episode 3, titled Parabatai Lost. And as you can see, we have a very special guest in the studio, Alisha Wainwright, and she is our newest cast member to Shadowhunters. We have a lot to talk about, so stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Hello, AfterBuzzers. Thank you again so much for tuning in to another Shadowhunters after show here at AfterBuzzz TV. I'm your host, Sam Davidson. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at SamD43. And as promised, I am joined by our newest Shadowhunters cast member, Alisha Wainwright.
Hi. Thank you for coming. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, this is exciting. I feel like I'm welcoming you to our family.
Yes. I know. That's really what it feels like, especially like with the fan base being so inclusive.
Yeah.
As soon as they found out that there was a Maya that was going to be on the show, everyone was like, who is she? We must know her. Yes. We want to love her. So that was really cool.
Oh, I'm sure they will. So for the fans that are going to start loving you, where can they find you on social media?
Instagram, I'm at Alisha Wainwright, and Twitter at Wainwright AE. And I think I have a Facebook.
Okay. That's what a lot of people say. They're like, I think I have a Facebook.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
Oh, Snapchat, Alisha954.
Okay, cool. Awesome.
Okay, cool. And of course, I'm joined by my two personal Shadow Squad members, Dakota T. Jones and Becca Brown.
What's up, guys? It's Dakota T. Jones. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube at Mr. Dakota T. Jones.
And y'all can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Becca B and Talks TV.
Awesome. And of course, guys, you can follow AfterBuzzz TV at AfterBuzzz TV on all social media platforms. We are in the live chat, so keep on chatting, ask your questions. And I just want to thank all of you that sent questions to the hashtag ABTV Ask Maya, because we got some really amazing questions.
Yes.
Yeah. And it just made me so excited because you guys are such an integral part of our after show, and questions like that make it what it is. So we're going to get to as many of those as possible.
Yes.
Starting off, how has this been a really big whirlwind for you, Alisha?
Well, I think the cool thing is that a lot of the producers and the cast of the show have kind of prepared me of what to expect. So it didn't really feel like a whirlwind in that I kind of had some preparation.
Yeah.
I can't imagine what it was like for them, their season one, because the fans, just gravitated towards the show and it did really well, but they didn't really have anyone kind of showing them the ropes.
Yeah.
So for that, I'm grateful for them.
That's awesome. Yeah, because they all were like thrown into it first season, so you can kind of have them to be like, all right, this happens, be careful of this and that. So that's really nice to have them kind of as like big brothers and sisters to kind of welcome you in. That's so cool.
Yeah, I feel lucky.
And I mean, aren't they the best cast ever?
Yeah.
I mean, it's great, and I love that it's a big cast.
Yeah.
So and a lot of diverse personalities, fun folks, and we do hang out a lot when we're out in Toronto, and so I feel really fortunate.
That's awesome. The fans have been waiting for your character for so freaking long.
I hear.
Yeah, I even thought in the season one we were gonna get you at some point,
like a taste of it or whatever.
And they kind of threw in like one character who kind of like maybe flirted with Simon at the very end, and a lot of people thought it was you.
I remember that.
Yeah, and so everyone was like, oh my gosh, it's Maya, but then it turns out that wasn't. So people really had to wait, but here you are.
Yeah, sorry for the wait, but she's here, and yesterday's episode I think was really fun and such a great way for people who have read the books and who haven't to experience like our version of Maya. I was so nervous, but like that good nervous, where you're kind of like a little shaky and excited, like while I'm feverishly live tweeting, trying to, gauge what everyone else thinks about it, because I loved it. So.
Yeah, that's so cool.
And, did you read the books before you got cast, or did you read them once you got cast? What was that kind of process like for you?
So, no, I hadn't read them prior to being cast, and actually, I didn't really even know that they were based off books. So when I got the role and I got to sit down and talk with some of the executive producers, they, I did my research before I sat down with them, and so I read the book before I met with them because I wanted to show like, no, I am super excited about this, and they were just like, well, that's cool, but like, we're doing different things than the books, but like we do want to keep the heart and soul of the character in it. So they were happy that I did that, but at the same time, they really gave me freedom to kind of make it my own thing.
That's really
awesome.
really cool, and it's so cool because your episode premiered like on Martin Luther King Jr. Day, which is amazing.
I saw that post.
It's just like it's super wonderful, and I feel like I've been given a lot of responsibility, but also there are a lot of young people who are not what you normally see on television, who are wanting to watch TV and find people that they can relate to that just even physically resemble them. So I am happy to kind of be a face for these little like girls and boys and these grown people who watch the show as well. Like we're trying to keep the cast as well, not we, but I am in part kind of keeping the cast a little more diverse. Which is
did
great.
they like do that on purpose, I'm guessing, or did it just because I know like did they think, oh, we're gonna write her in on episode 3 because it's gonna be on this date?
I don't think so. I
was like, this is really thought out.
Yeah, that I mean, kudos. Maybe it was just a happy accident. But I mean, no one told me that. I actually made the correlation while I was sitting there. I didn't even really. I mean, I had was reading some articles about MLK like during the day, and then it wasn't until I put 2 and 2 together and like, wait, like this is a fun thing that maybe some people aren't making the correlation for. So.
That is so cool.
Just
awesome.
makes it even that much more special.
Yeah.
Yes. Kind of meant to be, like how Parabatais are meant to be in each other's lives. We start off with a Jace and Alec flashback. Just general question. I just like to know everyone's opinion. What did you feel about the casting of the flashbacks as the kids? Some of them I thought were on point, while others I was like, they're adorable, but I'm just not sure if I see the resemblance.
It's a little hard. I had the opportunity to meet the youngest boys who were super adorable, so and I do feel like I got a sense of Jason Alec through the youngest set. The middle ones, okay, I could see how like it might be a little harder reach, especially since the years between them and Dom and Matt's age, it's a little closer together. So I understand that some people may not really feel that they resemble them, but I do think that they portrayed the essence of the character, which ultimately, if you maybe at first glance you're like, oh, they don't really look like them, by the end of it you're like, oh, this is totally their same dynamic.
Right. They did an amazing job though, for sure.
They did good portraying the younger teenage versions did good portraying the characters, whereas I don't think they looked as much like identical to them.
I saw a Ryan Gosling in there.
That's what I saw. I was like, it looks like Ryan Gosling.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, hey, that's fine, right?
Right, exactly.
I'm like, if Ryan Gosling ever needs like someone to play younger,
then we have this kid for you.
That's very true. He just keep his eye on that guy, that kid. But Alec is really sick, from trying to find Jace, and I don't exactly understand the science of it all, but he's in this kind of world that he's lost in, and his soul is lost, can't find his way back, and that's really why we're getting all of these flashbacks. Right. I think because it's supposed to kind of seem like a dream to him, probably.
Agreed, and I also think it's to kind of reiterate the importance of a Parabatai connection, and that it's a connection that they've had since they've met each other. So I feel like it's a twofold of like he's having those moments, and then as a viewer you're like, oh, these two were meant to be bonded from the moment they met.
Yeah.
I did like seeing the backstory of it, because I know we were all like, oh, okay, like they're Parabatai, but it was kind of cool to see how it happened and how Alec was very distant about it and didn't know if he wanted to, and then seeing that Izzy kind of found out why he was having a hard time with it. I did like getting the backstory, because we always kind of find out things, but then kind of getting a deeper sense of what was going on behind the scenes I love that they clarified that.
And I think that going forward, after watching this episode, that Jace and Alec's friendship is going to be more important to the viewers than it was in previous episodes.
Yeah, and just another, last season we had this love octagon that we had the cast members sign. We don't have one again this season, which is kind of a bummer, because I know we need to make one, but then by the time we get it, everyone's going to be back in Toronto, but we're going to make something fun.
Yes.
Okay. But yeah, we had all the cast members find it, and we had these magnets with everyone's faces on it, and we're like, wait, no, he's in love with him.
Yeah.
And
It went in every which
she's in love with him.
Isn't that fun though?
It was so much fun.
It started out as an octagon, and I don't even know what shape it took on after the end, because there was lines going everywhere. It was
We made
super
up a
fun.
shape by the end.
Yeah, we made up a new shape called like the Shadowhunter Gone.
Yeah. Shadow Gone.
Shadow Gone.
Yeah, and we sent it to a fan. We did a raffle. It was really fun. But again, another thing that I think Alec is not going to be over Jace, especially him essentially bringing him back, and then Magnus is going to be jealous, and it creates even more layers. But it was really fun and sad, though. I just like when everyone gets together and is like fighting for the same thing, because I was really scared about a division with Clary and Izzy and all of that, but they're still on the same side.
To see them, like, you think it's going to go that way, but they're
they
totally
together.
Yeah, they got each other's backs for sure.
I love how like your character though is the rule breaker and kind of like the edgy one who maybe is more of an outsider, at least in this episode we see. I know that you're probably going to join the family. It's going to be a big happy hoorah.
Well, I don't know about joining the family or anything like that, but she definitely when you first meet her this episode, I feel like she definitely creates obvious conflict for Jace, but it's not in a totally negative way. It's not she's just comes in and she's flirtatious and she's fun, and here's this guy, what's his story? Oh, cool, you can help me. Okay, wait, you can? No, wait, you killed my friend? Okay, then to me it makes complete sense why she would kind of go off the rails like that. And I think a lot of people like hate on like Nick, who plays Aldertree. They're like, oh, we hate Aldertree, he's such a like whatever, and so I was joking with him that I was afraid I was gonna get some similar heat and backlash from the fans, and I haven't really seen it. Everyone's just like, no, it's fine, like Jace will get over it.
I know. I love that. But Maya very much in this episode has her own agenda and is like ready to kind of bystep some of the boundaries to get what she wants, which I think makes for really great TV.
And I think it definitely will set up what essentially the season will be like. I think maybe in season 1 you saw a little bit of Luke's interaction with his pack, but not really. And you have Alaric, who is kind of his secondhand man, but there wasn't a whole lot of conflict there. So I think in any group you're gonna have power struggles and interesting dynamics that are gonna shift, and I think for Luke's character, it's super important that we start exposing what his at-home life is like when he's not, at the Institute or helping Clary do something. Fans are really wanting to know, what is it like to live Luke's life and hang out with the people that he hangs out with. So.
Yeah, it seems intense, and this all starts, it's very sad with the Greta situation. Gretel. I keep on saying Greta, and then tonight I was like watching it, and I was like, it's Gretel, and then I heard one of the characters say her name, and I was like, oh no, it's Greta. It's Greta. Gretel.
It's Gretel. I misspelled her name on Twitter and was corrected.
So you very much know.
And also I knew it, but just I spelled it with an A instead of an E.
Okay. So Gretel was sadly murdered at the end of last episode, and it's basically being placed on Jace. And I'm just curious, do you think Jace and Clary, when they went through the portal that Doc created, really did end up in the same place and just lost each other, or did they end up on like opposite?
I mean, you saw them jump, and then like, I don't know if they're strong. I actually have no idea how the dynamics of like rivers work, but I mean, it's amazing that he essentially almost dies, and she kind of gets away, just as equally bruised and stuff. But what was the question? How?
No, it was just, it's such a sad story about Gretel, and it is fueling what I think your character to kind of do things that we might not agree with because of love, because of loyalty, and I think it's beautiful, and I don't think that you are being posed as a villain at all, but you're obviously being posed against like who we know and love.
Right.
But it's interesting, and Jace admits it too in this episode, like, I get it, I think if anyone was in your shoes, they could have understood.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, it is kind of it's fun to see that because I think it's great writing to have someone have that kind of backstory. But I love when Jace and Maya meet. I like the bar. The bar is way better than the Chinese restaurant.
It was a nice setting. Yeah, I like the new setting. Yeah.
Jade Wolf's
fancy.
Yeah.
I was like, I would not want to order food there.
Yeah.
Like $10.
Great drink specials, but don't eat anything there.
Yeah, it would have some dog hair in it probably.
Hunter's Moon is definitely a really, really cool set, and we all agree that it's a type of bar that we would want to hang out with, or hang out in. It's a little bougie. You can get some fancy cheeses. You can get some like good snacks and bites and stuff. But then there's also pool and darts and stuff. So you're not you got a nice balance of gentrification.
Yeah, nightclubish.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I loved it. It was super cool.
Well, at first, when you meet Jace, I thought that she was playing him, but it turns out that she really didn't know who he was, right?
Yeah.
Until, Gretel's father's there and this whole thing is put together. How is it working with Dom? Did you ever, stutter on your words like I did the first time I met him?
We had someone in the chat ask that earlier, and I was like, that's a really funny question.
I mean, those eyes, it's just...
Someone said that exact thing.
It's funny, to answer your first question, when Maya first meets Jace, as any woman would, if someone like Jace walks into your bar, you're taken and you want to know more about this person, especially if it looks like some stuff happened to you, what's going on. Yeah. And then that quickly changes as she realizes there's more to him than just a random occurrence. Me first meeting Dom was actually we shot that scene where Maya's chasing Jace down that dark alley and he knocks the garbage can in front of her. That's the first scene I actually ever shot.
Oh, cool.
On the show, and I was talking with Dom, and no, it's fine. I mean, to us it feels very familial. It doesn't feel. And also, I always never look up people or anything like that before I meet them, because I feel like it kind of doesn't make the playing field fair. If you know about them or something. So when I met everybody, it just felt very friendly, and he was very warm and inviting, and also Kat and Alberto were just finishing up a scene too. So then the four of us sat down and kind of picked each other's brains about what we were thinking about the upcoming season and stuff. So it was
so fun.
it was a really fun
cool.
welcome.
That's awesome.
And a question that we had at Slay Frey asked you, what was your first impression with having to work with Isaiah and Alberto?
I mean, they're both very, very talented, and my first my storyline, Maya's storyline with Alberto, Maya's storyline with Simon starts to unfold as the season goes on, and he's so incredibly funny. It's really hard to keep it together and rein it in so that I'm not laughing and ruining takes. But he's really fun, and some directors let us improvise, which was also really fun to do. So hopefully some of those make it into the final edits. And working with Isaiah has been great. He's kind of like a father figure to Maya, and is just a really cool, relaxed, goofy guy who is one of the nicest people I've ever met.
Yeah, agree.
It acknowledges everybody on set. He knows everybody's name, and he's just very attentive and a great person to work with.
That's so cool.
Agree.
Yeah, he came in last week and we had an amazing time with him. He was so much fun and such a nice guy.
So much to say, so much knowledge and depth to give to us about the show. We were like, whoa, you really like the show. You really done
his research. He has, and he smells really good. It's Old Spice. Hello.
I mean, how can you not?
Yeah, totally.
I want to talk a little bit about this Jace and Jocelyn moment, which was
interesting.
I don't blame Jace though.
I know. I don't either, but I'm thinking, when you're down and out and you have some werewolves chasing you, maybe just accept a helping hand and deal with it later. That's what I thought.
I mean, I hear you, but at the same time, the last 2 episodes, he's been dealing with his father and how betrayal works in that regard. So then, you know, to see your mother and then she's trying to almost do behave in a similar way and try and show you the way, I would rebel as well. So
I'd be confused.
I'd be like, thanks for
as he
saying
is, right? He looks.
I'd be like, okay, what's
It
I
looks like
do?
a hard choice to make. I mean,
Right.
it's not like he's like, screw you. He really had to decide to not use her help.
He's like appreciates, you know, her grabbing him from you, like to shut the door and everything, but at the same time he's like, all right, I don't know if I can trust her. I mean, she did just try to kill me, so it's like you can't really argue with that. I mean, I would definitely kind of push back too and be like, let's hold on for a little bit. There's a lot of people out to get me,
chill.
and you may be just another person out to get me, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He's like running from like 10 people at once.
Poor guy. But there
10 creatures at once.
there was a point, and I don't know why I thought it was so funny, but as Jace was running and all of the wolves, they threw him out the window, you know? And he's like really messed up, you know? And I'm thinking to myself, God, Jace, you're so strong usually. And I realized how hurt he was, but he gets up and he runs with this limp a little bit.
Yeah.
And I rewound it a couple times, and I don't know why I laughed, but I was just like, oh,
Oh my god.
I was like, I love his run.
She's obsessed with all things Dom. Like,
I love Sarah Hyland too. Okay, I get it.
Funny.
They're perfect.
They are perfect together, but Sam definitely has her little crush.
Yes, I just, you know, it's a lot of fun to watch him every week. I'll say that. Let's jump to Simon a little bit. So sad. I feel I'm so close to my mom, and I couldn't ever imagine having to put someone through that.
Yeah.
I liked his phone call. When he calls, he's like, hi, no, I'm not dead. I'm like, okay.
How many times have you gotten that
Great.
text, though, from your parents? Are you alive?
Yeah.
Why haven't I heard from you? It's been a day.
Yeah, and then
like
if
2
I
hours.
don't respond, my mom's like, I'm gonna call LAPD, and I'm like,
You're like, all right, Mom, I'm here. I was saying that.
yeah.
It's like you're in a movie. I'm gonna call
I know. I'm like, sorry, Mom, my phone died.
Yeah.
But
I was watching Dom on Shadowhunters. Can we just like?
yeah, it was on silent. I was busy. So basically, she's been going back to drinking. Simon feels responsible, and Clary helps him. We had a nice little kiss, you know, cheek kiss between him and Clary. But
Oh, always the cheek kiss.
it's like, why do you even kiss him? Okay, just like either do it or don't do it.
Yeah.
At least like twice.
Well, I saw a little look in her eye though after she kissed
Yeah.
him on the cheek. Like, maybe I want to kiss you on the lips. I
I'm
don't
just
know.
like, I mean, look at Simon. I'm just like, don't you want to, like, come on, like,
I mean,
just go in for it.
I mean, for one, at this point, she thinks that Jace is her brother. So I, mean,
know. So doesn't
you know,
it just
Simon's
make
not your
sense?
brother.
Yeah.
You know, he's a good-looking guy.
He's
always been there
smart,
for you.
nice.
goofy, you know, vampire. I don't know.
Yeah.
There are benefits there. I'm not sure. I can't.
Never ages.
Yeah,
always
there
looks
you go.
young.
We'll make a list of reasons why Clary should date Simon.
Yeah, there you
Yes.
go. I'm sure that's like a Shadowhunters TV like article.
Yes, some climbing.
Probably.
Yeah, there you go.
We always said, we're like, climbing just doesn't sound right, but there's no other way.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
But I also think that is a little bit representative of their relationship, is what's going to happen. We're going to want it to happen. They're going to want it to happen for a moment, but it's just, you know, I don't know if it is going to really fall into place, because they really are more like siblings.
It can be a fling.
No, you cannot do a fling with Simon. You'll break his little dead heart.
I know.
Aw.
Yeah.
And Raphael, love seeing more
Yes.
of him. Love David Castro, you know.
Me too.
Also providing a little conflict, you
Yeah.
know, coming in and
Band manager.
He's so good.
Yeah.
He's just like he kind of. I think he's such a perfect foil for Simon too. You
Yeah.
know, just so poised and direct,
Yeah.
and Simon's a little skittish and not insecure, but like a little you know, antsy,
Awkward.
Yeah.
and awkward. And so it's fun to kind of see them have to do, like, work together. And
Yeah.
they're really funny, just independently trying to. I remember we were shooting a scene and David kept laughing, but it's funny because when he's in it, he's so
Serious.
stoic
Yeah.
and very serious, but it's just like you have to do that, and then also someone's poking
Yep.
something, and then you're trying not to laugh, and it's,
Exactly.
That whole scene where he's like, yeah, I'm his band manager. And
That
he
was
said it with a
hilarious.
straight face. He talked with a straight face that whole scene through. I'm like, dying out laughing.
Yeah.
I can't take him seriously.
He's pretty great.
I do.
So good.
I always forget that such little time has passed. So when I watch this, I'm like, wait, how could they have not? It's been so long, but no, it's been a few weeks.
Yeah. I was looking. So when we have call sheets, they say like the day and night of the actual season, and like it's only like a month by the end of the first 10 episodes. So like things are happening, and every day when you watch an episode, it's literally like 2 or 3 days.
That's crazy.
See, if I were any of these characters, I'd be ready for like a week-long nap.
I think
When do they sleep?
They don't. Like, they don't.
I mean, Simon and Raphael understood.
Yes, they do.
The rest of them, I mean, I would have mono at this point.
Oh,
or like hair in a ponytail and you're wearing sweats.
Sweatpants.
Yeah.
Like I'm just like, I don't want to do this.
They always look like freshly showered and like ready to go.
But of course, they look
Great.
amazing. And essentially, I thought Simon told his mother, like, I promise, I'm going to move home.
I know, that was kind of weird because I don't think he means that, especially with everything going on with what Raphael's trying to get him to do and how he needs to focus on finding Camille, and that's his family now. I'm pretty like, he said the exact opposite thing of what I think that he means, and it's like I kind of hate that. Like, don't string your mom along, like tell her what's going on. I mean, I know it's really hard, like I'm a vampire, but you know what I'm saying, do something to kind of fix it temporarily, not say this and then
But that's kind of his character. I mean,
Yeah.
he doesn't tell Clary that he's madly in love with her. So
There
I
we
mean,
go.
he's just kind of willfully playing along until
Yeah.
maybe it comes and bites him.
Yep.
Well, he's gonna bite
intended.
some.
Yeah. I was like, there's a pun somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Well, let's go back to the scene where Maya is chasing Jace, and you said that's where you originally met Dom, and then Clary went to talk to Luke to tell him the truth. What she heard was the truth. She knew Jace didn't do it. I think Luke knew deep down that Jace wasn't a murderer either. I hope so, but he still has to defend his pack. And they all end up meeting up, and it was super interesting, and I just loved, it just seemed as though Maya was really struggling, either listening to her alpha or wanting to kill this guy.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it's hard because, people, it's like with anything, when you believe in something and then someone tells you you're wrong, you tend to dig deeper and just know, I hear what you're saying, like, I'm gonna prove it.
Yeah.
And I think she was just living in a moment like that. She's about to do something and then a swarm of people come at her and tell her she's doing something wrong. Personality wise, I mean, if time and time again, I think she will still try and kill him.
Yeah.
I like that she's fierce and headstrong.
Yeah.
I was thinking that the whole episode. I'm like, dang, like
Yeah.
some girl power there.
Yeah, I mean, it's a slight flaw in that, she is willing to do things without solid evidence or justification, and it's hard for her to listen to criticisms, but as the season unfolds and you kind of get a glimpse into her past, I think it'll start to all come together kind of why she is like that.
Yeah.
I feel like Alec and Maya are a lot alike in some ways.
That's an interesting point, but I can definitely see that. And I could see the way you were portraying the character was so cool because, you had so much more to say, and you could almost see that, like, your character was about to break at the seams. Just all of the knowledge that we're going to get about her and everything behind her choices and her opinions on things. And I loved that. I mean, did you do a lot of character work to really build who she was?
I mean, so reading the book was incredibly helpful. And at this stage, Todd and Darren had just come on as showrunners, and when I sat down and met with them, they took the time to explain to me, and it'll be revealed, what was similar about her past in the books and what is different. I mean, an obvious one is in the book, she's like 15 years old or something like that.
Oh, okay.
I'm not 15, and she's working in a bar in the book. It's hard to make that seem realistic if you're a 15-year-old girl. So you have to age her up in order for her to fit not only the the entire cast, you know, kind of be this a similar age to be able to start being matched up and have all the M whatevers. What was the, like, Jaya, I think was one I saw.
Oh.
And Saya. I mean, it's just easy. You can just put anything and then Saya.
Right.
Saya,
Aya,
a good one.
Klaya.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I had that framework, and then I took the time and broke down this current episode and kind of started making my own choices with those things in mind.
Oh, do you want to move closer?
Sorry.
Oh, awesome. No worries. I completely saw that. I think you did an amazing job.
Thank you.
And I'm really, really excited to see where else it goes. Izzy oh wait, I'm sorry. Before we get to Izzy, there's a part that I skipped over that I need to talk about with you.
Okay.
The werewolf transformation
I
in
was
the
gonna say
hospital.
that.
Did you guys love that?
That was so good. I was
was
telling you
one of my
earlier,
favorites.
like where the knees break and like they get
I
down
think
into the.
That was the grossest and like most intense, gory moment of Shadowhunters we've ever seen.
And,
No, I think
I
it's
knew
the
that,
coolest.
and so I was encouraged to watch American Werewolf in London, directed. His name escapes me, but directed by the same guy who did like Michael Jackson's Thriller. So it's that same feel, and so I knew that that's how it was gonna be, and so you know, it's such a painful process, and I think something that we're gonna learn more about is how transformations are so integral in wolf life, and how obviously on this show we can do them at will. It's not a matter of it being a full moon. So you're gonna start to see like why like maybe you don't want to transform but you kind of have to, and so we'll kind of explore that a little bit more.
I loved how, I mean, this is gonna sound weird, but I loved how painful it looked, because it was like this cool adaptation of what we're used to seeing. You know, transformations usually just get mad and they just transform, but no, we could see in your eyes.
It was painful and purposeful.
Yeah.
Like it was hurting her, but like she's still laser focused in on him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
And the chat all agrees. They're like, it was so good. It was so amazing. The transformation was so cool. It really, and when your skin ripped and the
I mean,
fur
she's
came
like,
out,
that
was crazy.
Crazy.
I think out of like any show I've watched with like that kind of thing in it, it was amazingly done.
Yeah.
Very well done.
Yeah, it's skirted. I mean, some people were like, it's a bit too much. Very few people, but I did hear that. But I think it was
Great.
I think it was actually the perfect balance, because I think it really says something about, you know, that it hurts Maya that much, and she still does it. So it's just
pretty ballsy of her to do it right there in the hospital.
Yeah.
Oh, I know, like risk of
I
like
was
mundane
not sure
scenes.
it's a good time.
Well, Izzy, like we said, back to that, she takes them through the portal, Jace and Clary, and to help Alec to, you know, at Magnus's place, and some really nice moments between Magnus and Alec. Very sad, and he's doing everything he can to save Alec. I loved that. I loved seeing the squad together again.
I was crying at one point during this episode. I don't know which point, but like
Becca's an
multiple
emotional
times
mess.
through this episode, I was an emotional mess because I'm like, come on, Alec and Magnus. Like shipping them so hard in this episode.
Yeah, and
like,
I know
Alec, wake up.
a lot of people were asking, you know, the scenes between you and Magnus, hopefully in the future.
There
some exciting
are,
stuff.
and so I would. I am excited for everybody to see that. It's interesting because, you know, Magnus has a reason to go to the Institute, and Luke is the pack leader, so he can go to the Institute, but Maya never really gets the opportunity to interact with some of the Shadowhunters cast because their paths, there's just no reason for them to intersect. But it is nice. They do give the viewers an opportunity to kind of see Magnus and Maya together, and
That's
I think
cool.
it's pretty cool. I was surprised and happy when I read our first meeting on
That's so
camera.
cool. That's
So-
awesome.
You both are very fiery,
Yes.
and I think it's either going to, you know, it's probably going to go well. They'll probably hate each other, but then love each other, like as friends.
Maybe.
You know, I
That's
don't
an
know.
interesting interpretation. Okay.
Well, I guess
like,
I'm wrong. Guess I'm wrong.
I spoil nothing.
Maybe you're reverse psychologying me. Okay,
Yeah.
Kat did that once before with us. We like literally predicted what was going to happen in the finale, and she's like, "Oh, that's kind of interesting," and like totally blew it off. And we thought, "Oh, I guess not." And then later on, it happened, and we like reversed back, and we're like, "What?"
She's like completely like nothing.
Stoic, it was crazy.
Yeah, she's very sly in that way.
Yes.
Very heartbreaking moment when we think that Alec is actually dead, and I was thinking, oh gosh, I know Alec isn't going to be dead, but if he is, how much guilt Jace would feel, and it would just be disastrous. He ends up coming back, and then Jace gets taken by the Clave.
Yeah.
Which, I feel like it's those parents that are so strict, they think that they're doing something right by being so strict, but really they got it all wrong.
They're kind of not.
Yeah, and it's just so many of these characters were kind of trained to not like the Clave.
Yeah.
Because you're seeing it from their perspective. So, so the Clave is just getting in the way of the hijinks of whatever is happening. So, you can look at it outside the box and think that they're just being, they're not allowed to have free reign because that's not how it works. But you do find, because you love these characters and you trust them, that when they really believe in something, you kind of just want them to get it done, even if it means, breaking the rules.
Yeah. It's almost like having that bad boss that just has their own way of doing things. Like the Clave is just these things. It's like, okay, this is how things are done, but just kind of gets in the way of what's actually going on.
Right.
So, yeah.
It's like we have to do things this way.
Yeah.
No other way.
And it feels a little antiquated too. Like they have a dated perspective on how the interactions between the werewolves and vampires and mundanes work. Like there's maybe a little out of touch because they're so removed.
And I mean, we said this a lot last season actually, but we thought that the representation of the characters and all of the different sanctions, and then them all being pushed together and having this new crew of people that's a werewolf, a vampire, a bunch of Shadowhunters, and people not understanding. It's kind of very representative of what the country was and still is going through at the time.
Right.
And there are these antiquated people that want to push things a certain way, and then there's the younger generation that is like, no, we don't get it. This doesn't make sense anymore, and they're challenging it. And I love that. I think it all, because these are books, and it's obviously kind of a coincidence. They weren't written that long ago either.
It's history repeats itself all the time, and in the 60s and 70s, you always had a sort of rebellious youth, kind of hard hitting and opposing the older generation. I think it's as relevant then as it is now, and for sure, I think that it definitely, you can see those parallels. With the show.
Well, on that note, let's get into some of the questions that we have. I know you guys, let's start with you if you have some ready.
Okay, so you guys asked them the greatest questions. And we do want to say, like, you being a new character, that we had more questions for you than almost a lot of the other cast members. And it's crazy. It's so cool because I tweeted something, you retweeted it, and within minutes, like, I was scrolling through the questions. I'm like, oh my gosh.
So that's cool.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Taylor_84 wants to know, as being a new cast member this year, were there any pranks played on you? Because I know it's a very prank-driven cast.
So it's something I hear, and I don't know if I'd call it a prank, but Kat and I, it was just so late, and Kat and I were walking down a dark hallway out to go to our trailers, and Dom just jumped out of nowhere and scared us. And so I don't know if that's like a prank, but it's definitely
just like playful.
Yeah, super playful, and it's fun. Sometimes I come to set and there's just like toy guns around, and I'm just why? But then here, give me one, okay, and then all of a sudden we're all playing. So
that's cool. That's awesome.
That is amazing. I want to go so bad one day, like just to hang out with all of you guys. It just seems like the best summer camp ever.
Yes.
It does feel a lot like summer camp.
Yeah.
For sure.
Do you have one, Becca, that you would like to?
You
want me to go
first?
first?
Yeah.
Okay. I have one from Parabatai. She said, if you could play any other character on the show, who would it be and why?
Well, let's see. I don't know. That's a tough one. Only because I think my character's so different. I do find myself a lot like Izzy. Mm-hmm. So maybe an Izzy I would play. and I think also like Izzy and Maya are kind of very similar.
Yeah.
I'd love to just shoot a scene when we're just like having coffee, you know, or like going out to the club or something, you know. I think that'd be really
so
great.
Fun.
Casual girl talk.
Yeah.
That would be really fun. I would love to join.
Yeah.
This is it's kind of similar to that question. If you could be friends with any of the characters on the show or from the books, who would it be?
Izzy, right?
And that's from Kit Kat Me X Ow. Yeah.
Cool. I mean, Simon's actually pretty cool. He's in a band. Like, you know, he gets to stay up late all night because he can't sleep at night, right? And then, so he just seems like a fun guy, you know? I would want to hang out with him.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Let's see. At Ashley K715 says a storyline you would like to see explored in 2B, like season 2B.
Right.
2B or not 2B?
I mean, I kind of have an idea of where 2B is going, so I want that because I'm actually a huge fan of what I think is to come. But I am sort of the Clave seems so elusive, and I know it kind of takes you away from our main characters, but I being a werewolf component of the show, I know nothing about it, so I think exploring that would be kind of interesting.
Yeah, definitely. And on that note, somebody else asked, let's see, where is this amazing question? Oh, what are you most excited for the fans to see? Said Sophie at Mirage Bane.
Well, I was super excited for everyone to see the transformation because in season 1, you don't see it at all, right? Mm-hmm. There's some boxes, there's some crates, and then all of a sudden there's a wolf. And I understand why they did that, but I do think that I loved how everyone really put a lot of thought into this is what it's going to look and feel like, and it changes a lot of how the character is and kind of gives you an insight into it. So that was something that I mean, there's just boatloads of stuff that I can't wait for everyone to know about, but I'm glad that everyone saw that and enjoyed it.
Definitely.
Yeah, and I know someone else here asked, let's see, one of our amazing fans, Valencia at Veladiscope, was that a new werewolf transformation for Shadowhunters? Yes, because we hadn't seen it before. Did she tear off pieces? Can you explain how you filmed that scene, actually?
Sure.
I know a lot of it was CGI and stuff.
So if you head to my Instagram, I posted a photo, and on my Twitter too, I think, with me and my body double. And so she bless her, she was in full makeup when I met her, so I actually have no idea what she looks like because they had to cover her entire face and neck and hands. And she had a back prosthetic, and so they matched our entire outfit, and they seamed the back so that when you pull on it, it would rip, and
That's
so
so
then
cool.
her back just kind of pops out. They had to kind of adhesive the bit of the neck that was missing, and then they filled it with a bunch of fake blood so that when she rips it, you're gonna get that kind of bloody, furry underneath. And then the hand shift from my hands to the wolf hands, and the leg prosthetics, which is basically like my lower half, that you just push down and they pop the calf muscle out.
That's so crazy.
Really
that was my
cool.
favorite part.
Yeah.
That was my favorite part.
And we were in this like creepy old hospital. It was so late at night, and it was super trippy.
That's so cool.
And then the camera just lasered in on my eye so that you can really get the color shift from my brown to green.
That's so cool.
Yeah, that was really cool. All right, I think we have time for one or two more questions till predictions.
Okay, go for it.
Sizzy Hell Yeah says, what's your favorite thing about Maya?
That's tough, but I do think one of my favorite things about Maya is that she says exactly what she's thinking, and she doesn't really hold back. And I think, some people, the right kinds of people, will find that fun and cool, and some people are just like, wow, okay. like my future interactions with her interactions with Simon and Jace a lot of my stuff deals with the two of them and Luke, but Luke knows me, so and I have a different sort of respect for him, obviously. So yeah.
That's cool.
I like characters like that because I feel like they're a bit more like three-dimensional than most.
Yeah. She doesn't really hold back, and even when she's not saying stuff, you can kind of read it on her face what she's thinking.
Exactly.
Yeah, and then she just changes her entire body into an animal.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, she's pissed.
Myself.
At Malik's Angel, Danny, one of our lovely viewers, wants to know what character do you not get to interact with much in 2A that you would like to in the future?
So again, like I said, Izzy and Alec and I mean, I interact with Harry, with Magnus, but I feel like I've yet to have a scene with Alec.
Yeah.
So I would love to see, because she has such a marred relationship with Jace, how that would influence how I'm received by Alec, because it's his Parabatai and I've tried to kill him, so I'm curious if he would even want to help me if I ever needed his help or something like that.
I feel like Maya's relationship with Jace at this point is similar to Alex's relationship with Clary.
Well, that's actually a question that I have just for you and for the whole show. You and Clary seem like you're very different characters. However, you both have these connections, or will have these connections, to Jace and Simon. And you're different, but you kind of are on a very similar path, but just on different teams. And is that something that, going into this, you're like, well, we're different, but we're the same? Did you ever think about that?
I mean, I tried not to. I mean, yes, I hear you, but it's kind of more fun to be open-minded and only look at it from the viewpoint of the character. Yeah. And so, at this stage, what has Maya and Clary's interaction been? It's been that she's the redhead who's with my alpha telling me that I'm wrong and I should stop. So it's just like, okay, well, I don't know if I like you. Right. I don't dislike her, but it's not necessarily on the positive side.
Yeah. Well, on that note, I have some predictions, so let's start getting into those.
Okay.
Yes.
And now, your AFTERBUZZ TV predictions.
Oh, Dakota, go first.
Oh, you know what? This is one of those things I always feel put on the spot, and afterwards I'm like, oh wait, I should have said this. I think my biggest prediction is that hopefully we're going to see a lot more of your character, and we're going to see her, I mean, I don't know about in the Institute, but I'd like to see her at least with Clary. Like, I'd like to see that kind of head-butting type of thing going on. Because like you said, it is one of those things where she's trying to tell Luke that you're doing things wrong or not to do certain things, so I kind of want to see if what's going on with those two characters if they were to meet.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna drop the climate thing for right now. I want a fling to happen. So Sam's like, no, don't break his heart. But I want something to happen between them, just because they've been hanging out so much lately as friends. And Clary will literally drop everything to be with Simon and go help Simon.
Yes.
So I think they should date just for a little bit at least.
Okay, all right. Do you want to do any fake predictions, as our amazing fan Tina Hararka asked?
I think that everyone should really look forward to a polyamory relationship with Magnus and Alec and Maya.
Yeah.
I think, what wordplay can we make out of that?
We can make it a throuple.
Like Malikia.
Malikia, yeah. It can be a throuple.
I think everyone should get really excited about that.
Yeah.
And
cute.
That's the first one that jumped in my mind.
The writers right now are going, okay.
Let's see, let's try this.
Noted.
Yeah.
Like, interesting turn, but I like it.
And just because I know people would freak out about this one, Crown Daddario wants to know really quick, what's your favorite ship on the show? Is it Malik, or like what's going on?
Honestly, my favorite ship is Clya. Or no, Kleiman.
I was like, wait a minute.
No, because we were just talking about Maya and Claire. Yeah.
Whoa, Freudian slip.
Excuse me. No, I actually really like Kleiman, only because it's one of those. It's those age-old. They'll never get together, but will they get together? It's I don't want to say
in another life.
I know. So
Exactly.
Well, I think that Clary and Maya are definitely going to have some words, and they're both so similar. They're both so similar that they think they hate each other, but then I think as time will progress, they realize they're more alike than they originally thought. And again, you know, I think Jace is not gonna be that he has shared parents with Clary, aka they're not siblings. I think that maybe Clary will start falling for Simon, and then when she really is about to be in it, then she realizes that Jace is not her brother, and then boom, we're screwed.
Boom, we're screwed. Very nicely put.
Again, thank you guys so much for tuning in. One more time, where can we find you all on social media?
You all can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Becca B Talks TV.
You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube at Mr. Dakota T. Jones.
Instagram is Alisha Wainwright, Twitter is Wainwright AE, and Snapchat Alisha954.
Awesome.
And you guys can find me, Sam Davidson, SamDavidsonEntertainment.com on Twitter and Instagram at SamD43. And I just want to thank Crafted by Ash. You can find her on Instagram. She made me this beautiful necklace to wear for the show. Ooh. And guys, next week we have another guest, Maxim Roy, aka Jocelyn. So start tweeting your questions, ABTV, ask Jocelyn, or is that too many?
I think that's fine. Yeah, that should work.
Yeah. Okay. If it doesn't, we'll figure it out and we'll tweet you. Thank you again, and thank you so much, Alisha.
Yes.
We will see you next week.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.